Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this week's learning session from Training Location, where you're authorized DiSC distributor for Wiley Publishing, as well as a channel partner with the Ken Blanchard Companies. My name is Bill Harshman, and I'll be your presenter today. We know that the four-quadrant DiSC model actually houses a total of 12 styles, still within four quadrants. This lesson continues our increased understanding of not just the four quadrants with which we're already familiar, rather an understanding how changing proximity, that is the distance to a neighboring style, within a particular quadrant yields a result which identifies a separate, unique DiSC style. Today's focus is on one of those styles, the ID, or influence dominant style. Where did this come from? Well, as the DiSC has evolved and become totally computer-based, the algorithms showed a much more robust capability to plot your specific dot very closely within one of the four quadrants. Research showed that the analysis and weighting of the results placed the same styles in various places of a given quadrant. Simply put, the result was different degrees of the same style and slightly differing preferences and priorities. So what's in this for the learner? This lesson will be helpful if you haven't taken the DiSC, or if you don't know your DiSC style, or if you're already a style other than an ID. Here's a reminder as we go forward. One of the cornerstone principles of DiSC is that everyone is a unique blend of all DiSC styles, and people typically tend toward one single style. This principle is particularly appropriate as we go forward today. A quick summary of the ID style. I do this in most lessons, so I won't dig too deep here. Let's start with what we know. We already know a couple basics about the ID style, which resides within the influence or I quadrant. This I quadrant includes the ID style, the I style, and the IS style. They all have a pace of faster and outspoken, combined with an agreeableness quotient of accepting and warm, which we call people focused. And the brief list of observable behaviors of descriptors still includes outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, high spirited, and lively. Now, from our model, we also note that the ID style, priorities differ slightly from the I and the IS. And the ID includes results, action, and enthusiasm. Now, as we proceed in this lesson, you'll notice one or more of these priorities identified in our ID candidate. And I encourage you to refer to our blog titled Everything DiSC Workplace Profile, the 8 Priorities, to understand more about priorities that are associated with all the DiSC styles, and specifically the ID style. The thrust of this lesson is around the priorities and qualities that tie those aforementioned descriptors together. Let's begin by examining the priorities. Priorities, which are listed around the circumference of the model, are the primary areas where people focus their energy depending on their DiSC style. Everyone has at least 3 priorities. Sometimes they'll have 4 to 5. However, having more is no better or worse than having 3. I'm sharing priorities from the Everything DiSC Workplace Profile in this example. The Everything DiSC Workplace Profile priorities are unique to you and based on your specific results. Priorities simply help us understand how our style might be reflected in motivations and behaviors given real-life work scenarios. The important thing to remember is that when things get foggy, such as when there's stress in your world or uncertainty appears, we seek the priorities associated with our style. Now, the priorities of the ID style, as I said earlier, first is results. The ID works to accomplish goals rapidly. They are competitive, however, also use charm to persuade others. To many, they seem too focused on results. Second is action. The ID seems adventurous and bold. Getting bored easily, they often seek out unique assignments and leadership positions. They are known for their energetic approach. Third is enthusiasm. The ID appears charming and fun because of their high energy. They use their excitement to hook others and to create a lively environment. Some styles just can't handle their high-spirited approach. Next, we consider the qualities of the ID style. These are similar to core needs that we discussed earlier. However, they're less unconscious and are more at the surface near conscious observable behavior. The qualities vary and are represented in scales. Now, just a note, due to the pairings of styles to form a particular scale, you'll notice that these dual letter designations, such as ID, are shared with their neighboring dual letter mirror. For example, the ID and DI styles are physically paired together, and as such, they share style qualities. Same is true of the IS/SI proximity, the CS and SC proximity, and the CD and DC proximity. The result is 8 disk styles instead of 12, which you might expect. So we have 12 disk styles equal to 8 disk scales. They're listed there. Let me note here, though the ID and DI styles are separate and unique, you can consider the ID and DI styles as one scale when it comes to qualities, not in terms of their disk style, just the qualities. Let's take a look. So let's review the qualities of the ID/DI scale that include excitement, opportunity, and importance. Let's go back. No, excitement. If you ask an ID, they'll tell you that they're adventurous and they're risk takers. They crave stimulation and, as such, are drawn toward exciting roles. You'll find them at the center of the action and larger than life people. And they'll fly down the road with an idea without spending too much time on analysis, leading them to potentially miss obstacles or due diligence. Second is opportunity. They're constantly, almost unconsciously, scanning their environment for possibilities. They're at the front of the line when initiating big changes, willing to take chances and networking. Fresh ideas can distract them from unfinished initiatives, and others are captured with their energy and their storytelling. This helps them seize opportunities and bring others on board. Third is importance. Their sense of self-worth is tied to recognition. They're drawn to positions that feature recognition, advancement, and influence. They demonstrate high self-confidence with an instinct of unstoppability. They'll avoid restraints on their autonomy with a persuasive and magnetic approach. So, where they differ, this table has a lot of information in it, but up until now, I've referred to the neighboring styles, ID and DI, interchangeably in terms of the overlay of their priorities and their qualities, respectively. However, it's important to remember they are two different disk styles. The unique placement of those dots on the disk model is determined by the computer algorithms I mentioned. So I want to share some clarifying / identifying information to help make this distinction clear. A comparison shows that the two styles share only priorities and qualities, however, differ in terms of their characteristics as determined where their dots fall within a quadrant. That to some, these differences may seem subtle. However, lumping the two styles together as one is wrong. It's inappropriate and unfair. So one of our cornerstone principles shows us that each and all disk styles are unique and equally valuable. So that was a lot of new, detailed, complex information. And what do you glean from that and apply to your daily life? Well, there's an implication for handling conflict. The ID, similar to the ID style, includes the following characteristics. They're passionate and expressive. They're assertive, self-assured, wanting to have control, competitive, biased toward action, and having a very clear vision of how things should be. Similar to the DI, the ID person isn't used to holding back and they feel their emotions in the moment. As such, they want to act on their impulses rather than repress them. This factor alone can be healthy, particularly in organizations. However, when it comes to conflict, they can be so inclined toward winning that they ignore the warning signs from other parts of their brain, which are suggesting them just to slow down a little bit and or consider others' opinions. Excuse me. And there's one more important implication I want to share. To the degree that the ID person, the subject of our talk today, may work with more soft spoken or somewhat reserved people, how often do you really slow down and stay quiet enough for that other person to feel like they have an opening or even an invitation to really express their concerns? Just food for thought. Such concerns might not even be on the ID's radar. Given that the ID person has a strong personality, it might be incumbent upon them to actively create that space rather than waiting for the other person to push for it or to be outspoken about their needs. So what is for the ID to consider how they would increase their effectiveness. At a glance, the idea is into quick action and new opportunities. This can come across as impulsive and outspoken if overused. This lesson can help the ID to increase effectiveness by accepting and understanding their own style, then incorporating what they know about other styles toward improved communication. All right. I hope this has been increased your awareness and knowledge and familiarity of the disc, as always, and specifically the ID style. Whether your needs include leadership, culture change, team building, coaching, or just communication 101, DISC is a research based, proven leading training solution. It's impacted more than 8 million learners in over 130,000 organizations and through 14 languages in over 70 countries worldwide. This provides a quick and intuitive way to understand yourself and others, and it provides immediate and lasting impact on performers of people and culture. And as always, the key to effectiveness through this is understanding your and other styles, then using that knowledge for improved interactions. Here's our contact info. And before you go, I'd like to extend you a resource and a request. I'll be happy to send you a sample PDF of any of the profiles you see on our website, traininglocation.com, or if you'd like to discuss a complimentary live webinar introducing one of those profiles to your team or organization, shoot an email to info@traininglocation.com. Be sure and check out our learning blog at traininglocation.com and click on blogs and keep an eye out for our next article in the series. And before you close your screen, we always appreciate your like, your share, your download, and of course, for continued learning, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye until next time.